Unlock your full potential, the secret to success. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the most powerful information to help you make progress in your life. Look, if you feel that you have untapped potential, and if you have any goals and dreams and ambitions, then this video is for you, because we're really going to look at the new science of success. So let's begin by me asking you, what is your potential? Maybe we should actually start off by looking at, what does potential actually mean? Well, you can go to the dictionary and you can see it means something that is achievable, something that is likely to happen. And I know that one of the things we all have in common is we all have potential. There is all more to us than meets the eye. So this is a question I ask on many of the YouTube videos, and I'm going to ask it of you right here, right now. And the question is, what will be the greatest thing that you ever do? Not what you've done, what you'll do. Now, we could also ask the question, what's the greatest thing you've ever done? Now, I'd say the greatest thing you've ever done is to get to this point in your life. Congratulations, because I would imagine that it hasn't necessarily been easy. I'm sure you've had trials and tribulations and things haven't always worked out the way perhaps you would have wanted them to, but you've got to this point in your life. How did you do it? Well, you obviously had some potential. You did some things. And I commend you for literally being here, right now, watching this video, because you don't have to do this. You see, the thing that separates us from all other animals is one word, and that's choice. And when we look at animals, we see animals live in a very instinctive, reactive way. Whereas human beings, we have something called intelligence and we have intention. And it's all very well knowing what to do, but when we can live intentionally, it's amazing what people can do. So you now know what potential is. Potential is something that is achievable, something that is likely, something that you can do. So let's look at success. What is success? Well, once again, a good place to start is go and have a look in the dictionary, or Google it, or ask Siri, and I'm sure he'll tell you what it is. Really, success is whatever it is to you. But in the dictionary it says the achievement of a goal or an outcome, being successful in a particular field that you might be playing in. But for some people, success is about fame, beauty, money, and power over others. And that's what a lot of people are chasing in the world today. They're chasing recognition and fame and fortune and beauty and power over others. But what we now know is that people that are chasing these things tend to be less psychologically stable than people who aren't chasing those sorts of things. So let me ask you, in your life right now, what is wildly important to you? What areas of your life do you want to achieve? What areas of your life do you want to progress in? See, that word success, it really started being used in about the 1530s. But when we look at how the word has changed, it was in the 1830s that for the first time, people started to associate success with who people were and what they had. Look at me, look what I have, look how amazing I have, look all the money I have. It's about having, look at me. And again, we know that that tends to lead to people being psychologically unstable. It's estimated that there are 792 million people in the world who are challenged by some form of mental illness, some sort of mental health challenge, whether it's anxiety or depression or perhaps something a bit more severe. And I wonder how much of that has to do with what people think success is. And what I'd like you to consider today is coming up with a new definition. Something that helps you to have more fulfillment, that helps you actually achieve what it is that you want to achieve. In America, there is something that is known as the Declaration of Independence, and it's known as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is a lovely idea, but in actuality, pursuing happiness often means that people aren't happy, and it's something they're constantly pursuing. I'll be happy when? Which is possibly another reason why people are psychologically unstable. They're not as happy as they can be because they're always chasing something. And perhaps when they achieve something, the temporary feeling of happiness doesn't last very long. And I think it's exactly the same with success. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of success, rather than life, liberty, and feeling successful. Knowing that all that you have is all that you need. When we look at the word success, you now know where it comes from, but for the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, they had a different meaning of the word success. That word was arete, which means living with excellence. And that was associated with the practice of being courageous, doing things that were a little bit difficult, perhaps you didn't feel like doing, but advancing, practicing self-control, because even back then there was lots of temptation for people to go off the path. For them, excellence or success was being a good human being that was contributing to society. And what I have observed from working with people for so many years is that true success is when you are validating yourself. What I mean by that is you have an inner feeling. You're not looking for validation in the outside world. You're not looking for proof. You appreciate who you are. And that's a real challenge for people to do. There's a book by David Brooks. It's called The Second Mountain. And he talks about, for most people, the first part of their life, they're trying to climb this mountain. The mountain of, look at me, look what I have. And often people get to that point and realize there must be something missing. And that's when they start to climb the second mountain. But you don't have to wait until you're 40 or 50 or 60. The second mountain really is when you decide to grow, and through you growing and you being better mentally, physically, emotionally, that you want to contribute. And this is what I want to share with you. Look, there have been thousands of studies that have shown all over the world that people are more psychologically stable when they are having goals that are challenging yet difficult. Challenging yet difficult. What I mean by that, there is some type of dynamic tension that is pulling them to move forward. Because what we see with so many people is what drives them is pain, which tends to push people, a prognosis, a diagnosis, something bad happens in people's lives and it pushes them to move away from where they were. But once people get comfortable again, they tend to go back to the world that they were in before, to think and act in the same way. And when we look at us and animals, we know that what separates us is intelligence and intention and choice, that we have choices. There's so many choices that we can all make. And we live in a world in terms of the environment that doesn't really favor us to get better, to make a difference, to be a valuable member of society, to be healthy, rather than for us to be over-consumers and give in to temptation and over-consume. So I really ask you just to stop today and think about a different definition of success, because the only definition that matters is yours. And I'd like to give you right now a few different ways of you being able to measure your success. Are you ready for the first one? The true measure of success, I would say, is to identify with a future that you want to create. You can see that many of the videos that we've made on our YouTube channel are about future self, waking up to the reality that you actually have a future self. You have a past, you have a present, and you have a future, and identifying with a better version of yourself. When Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see in the world, he knew who he had to become. Mr. Beast, and we've made a video about him, the most successful YouTuber in the world. We know that 8 years ago, he made 4 videos in which he's talking to his future self. And he scheduled those videos to go out 6 months, a year, 5 years, and 10 years. And he went from 8,000 subscribers to well over 100 million. Or Matthew McConaughey, when he was 15, he decided to meet his hero, knowing that his hero was always 10 years in front of him. He knew who he had to become. I would say a great measure of success is seeing a future self that you want to go out and create. So that's one way. Another way is to do what you say you're going to do. There's a part of the brain that remembers every failed attempt, every time we said we were going to do something and we didn't do it. Let me ask you, who would you be if you followed through on what you said you were going to do? Your self-confidence would grow. You'd see yourself starting to advance. And it really is the difference that makes the difference. When we look at truly successful people who have made a difference to the world, we know that they have been consistent with doing certain things that they often didn't feel like doing. And that's another measure of success that I want to share with you, is the worse you feel, or the more you don't feel like doing something, the more committed you should be to doing it. Have you ever had that feeling of not wanting to do something and then you did it? For example, maybe, I don't know, exercise. There's many days where I don't feel like doing it, but boy, do I feel so much better for doing the things that I often don't feel like doing. It's just getting started. That's another measure of success. Let me share a few more with you. A great one is to ask people the question, what can I do for you? It was Martin Luther King who was massively inspired by Gandhi. Gandhi saying, be the change that you want to see in the world. Martin Luther King said the most important question we should be asking each other is, what can I do for you? You know, when we're lost, when we're stuck, when we're not feeling at our best, one of the best ways to change our state is to be there for other people. I think true success really is our ability to choose our attitude, to choose what we think. And I don't think life is particularly easy, but what I do see from all of the people that I've worked with, that success is a choice. The more we think about success being a future destination in terms of what we will have, the more likely we are to feel stable in where we are. Wake up to the fact that you do have that you do have untapped potential. So let's finish off with going back to that question that I asked before. What will be the greatest thing that you ever do in your life? Is it possible that the greatest thing you will ever do in your life will be the person that you become? And in becoming that person, what sort of impact do you think you might have in the world? So that finally one day when you leave this earth, what you might have left behind. I know when I leave this earth, these videos will still be here. And as long as those videos are still here and people like you are watching them, I know that I've been a success. Success is a choice. Success is an internal feeling that we can all have. And you know what? You should have that feeling right now. And in fact, why don't you just turn up the feeling, because you've got to the end of this video. That tells me something about you. And if you're ready to take this to the next level, then watch the video that we made about Mr. Beast and see how you could be like him. You can't be him, but you can definitely do some of the things that he has done, because success always leaves clues. But I think we should all be careful about the people that we should follow. The people that make the difference are the people who want to grow, get better, and leave a valuable contribution. Watch that video about Mr. Beast, and we'll see you soon. Take care.